Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I know you guys don't get to see me very much because I'm typically just posting about my dogs or sport events, training, what we're doing that day. But I have a lot of changes going on in my life and I just want my channel to grow with those changes. For those of you who don't know, my husband actually left for basic training this past Monday on May 13th of 2024. He's going to be gone for quite a while because after basic training, he'll go to AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training, and then he actually is going to go to Airborne after that. So he'll go down to Georgia for Airborne school. But I'm not gonna, be too upset about him being gone. I'm gonna try to stay busy, and with staying busy, I'm gonna pick up everything and probably just go travel the United States. I've seen more of Europe than I have of the US, which is kind of sad considering I'm from the US. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about what my plans are, what it was like for my husband leaving, and this is something you guys are interested in. Definitely keep following, and hopefully my video skills will definitely get better because this is all new to me as well. But stay tuned. So I wanted to discuss a little bit more about what the days were like leading up to my husband leaving for basic. He actually took the whole week off before he left just so he could kind of chill because he knew basic was going to be a lot for him. Giggy. I don't know if you guys could hear him, but he's whining. Aren't you? Aren't you? But he kind of chilled out at home while I worked. At the time, I was still working at a vet clinic. And then also, of course, my dog grooming. But now I'm actually grooming full time. But anyways, back to that. He took that final week off, and after that week, the weekend before he left, we actually took a trip to Helen, Georgia, which, for those of you who don't know, Helen, Georgia is actually a little cute German style town. It's very touristy. I had never been there, but my husband actually had when his family came in last year, and they seemed to really like it, so he wanted to take me there so I could see it. And it was cute. It was fun. The food wasn't that great, but that's compared to actual German food, which is amazing. I highly recommend Germany for those of you who are looking for a place to travel. We took a trip down there and it was fun. We just spent the day and then we came back up, and I had to work the next day, which was the day that he left. It was sad. I had to drop him off around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I had a training session, so I had to rush there. So we said our goodbyes the night before, and then the morning when I dropped him off, I gave him a kiss and told him I'd be seeing him soon, and we're going to write each other letters and everything and keep in touch, but it's going to be really hard for the both of us, for him not having his phone and us not being able to talk daily. So after I dropped him off, I went to a training session and then a couple of grooming sessions, and then came home to an empty house. It was a lot to deal with. It wasn't so empty. I have like freaking 3 dogs and a foster dog, so 4 dogs altogether, really. I've just been keeping my head up, and it's been a week since he's been gone, and I miss him a lot. And so my husband and I actually got to stay in touch a few days while he was traveling. It took him up until early Thursday morning to get to where he is having his basic training at, in Fort Still. He had to take 2 flights and then ride a bus there, and the first flight went okay. He wasn't able to sleep on the flight any. The second flight they missed because there was a 3-hour delay with the first flight, so they had to stay the night in the airport, and then they were supposed to catch a flight the next day in the evening time, the way it worked out, but they actually got on a flight sooner, and then they had to wait at the bus station for the whole next day until the bus came at, I think he said like 11:30 at night, which would then take him to Fort Still. By the time he actually arrived at Fort Still, I was already in bed asleep, but I guess when they arrive there, they make the to-be soldiers call their home and let them know that they're there. It was a super formal call. He called me at like 2 a.m. and he said, I just wanted to let you know that I arrived safely and goodbye. And he hung up, and that's not typical for us. We always say I love you and everything. So I was like, well, maybe he just wasn't allowed to, which ended up being the case because we've gotten to talk here recently. But I didn't hear anything from he said he would talk to me on Sunday, but I didn't hear anything from him until Saturday, which was yesterday. I guess they got to get their phones a day early, and he tried to call me, but the call didn't go through because he said there was like over 600 people trying to call out all at the same time, which is to be expected because they want to call their family members and let them know how things are going, you know. We decided to just text since it was too hard to call. We couldn't really hear each other. He told me that he hadn't slept for 70 hours straight because of all the travel, and he's the type of person that he can't just sleep anywhere. He has to be comfortable. My husband, little backstory, is from the Netherlands, so his first language is Dutch. He told me that because he hadn't slept for 70 hours that he started hearing voices in his head speaking Dutch, and then he would also see shadows, which scared the hell out of me. I mean, obviously 70 hours is like, what, 4 days of not sleeping? That couldn't have been healthy for him. I'm just glad that he got some sleep before he called me, and he did seem a little wary and tired when we were talking, which, I mean, he only got like 7 hours of sleep after that, so it's to be expected as well. He told me that he missed me and I missed him, and it was a really good conversation, and I'm glad that we got to at least talk to each other a little bit. He was supposed to contact me today, but I don't think that's going to happen since they got their phones yesterday. Basic is supposed to start on Monday, so I guess they're getting ready for that. But while he's in basic, we told each other that we were going to write letters. We're going to write letters all throughout the week. He's going to try to write me every day. I'm just going to reply to his letters or write some when I feel like writing. Of course, I've already written a letter, but that's beside the point. He thought it would be really cute that we keep like a diary of the letters, and that way if we ever have kids in the future, they'd be able to look back on the letters and see it, which I also think is cute. It's going to be hard on the both of us, him being in basic. We've been together almost 9 years now, and we started our relationship doing long distance, and we did long distance for the first 4 years where we would go to each other on and off, and the longest time we were apart were 9 months. It was really hard, and it almost ended our relationship, but we got through it. Thankfully, it's only going to be about 4 months that we're separated, hopefully, as long as everything goes good. I'm going to try to stay busy while he is doing his thing. I have plans to travel the United States. We lived in Europe for a while, and I got to travel to a bunch of countries in Europe, and I haven't really traveled the United States because of my childhood and upbringing. It wasn't the best, and I didn't have as many opportunities as some people would have. I have a plan to go just make a big loop. I'll actually put some photos up that you guys can kind of see the stops that I'm taking and the route I'm kind of taking. This is all just still up in the air. It's going to depend on if I get to save enough money to buy a little teardrop camper to pull behind my car or not. But my plan is to actually groom dogs on the road. I'm a part of a Facebook group that helps groomers who are traveling to find work. I'm so thankful that I have that skill set and that I can use it. But I want to discuss the route that I'm going to take for my trip. Starting out, I'm in Sylva, North Carolina. After I get my camper, I have like a week that I can go to Oklahoma, which is where Fort Still is. So I'm going to make my way to Houston, Texas. That's going to be my first stop. From Houston, I'll go to Austin, Texas. And then while I'm in Texas, I also want to visit the Llano River, which I've seen pictures of. It looks beautiful, and hopefully it's as pretty as what the pictures show. Then I'm going to go to Dallas, Texas. You may ask why I want to visit Texas in the first place. I have a border collie breeder who I'm planning on getting a puppy from that lives there, and I want to check her out, meet her dogs, and see if the puppies she's going to produce will be a good match for sumac, because I'm actually planning on breeding sumac in the future, but more to come on that. But after I visit Texas, I'm going to make my way to Fort Steele, which is in Oklahoma, for those of you who don't know. And while we're there, he's got his graduation. I'll probably stay about a week there for his graduation, and then he has a few days after graduation before he ships off to his AIT training. After Oklahoma, I'll go to Colorado Springs, Colorado, and then Crested Butte. I don't know how you say it. It looks like crusted butt or crested butt. Then Alpine Lake. I'm just hitting some of the places I've seen in Colorado that are gorgeous and I really want to visit, including Glenwood Hot Springs and Rocky Mountain National Park. Once I'm finished seeing all those in Colorado, I'll make my way to Idaho and I'll see Shoshone Falls Park. I hope I said that right. Then Kirkham Hot Springs, Boat Box Hot Springs. And then after Idaho, I'm making my way to Oregon to see the Timber Gulch. And then Sisters, Oregon, which looks stunning, by the way. Just all of Oregon. Then I will make my way up to the Portland Japanese Garden, drive into Victoria, British Columbia. British Columbia is like one of the biggest places that I want to go, because British Columbia, we also want to go gold panning and stuff, so we'll probably make our way back there again if I don't get a chance to make it there on my trip. But after British Columbia, we'll be going to Bozeman, Montana to visit a friend, and then Yellowstone National Park. If you're in Montana, why would you not go see that? I mean, it's just gorgeous. Then we're going to go to Wyoming to the Devil's Tower. Just making a quick trip past to go to Mount Rushmore National Memorial in South Dakota. And then one of the final like touristy stops that I'm going to take is going to be in Badlands National Park, South Dakota. After that, depending on how quick my trip goes, I'll make my way to Parkersburg, West Virginia, which those of you who don't know, West Virginia is where I'm originally from. All my family's there. I'm gonna go visit. Depending on how much time I have, I'm probably gonna stay a little while, maybe get a grooming job up there until I have to make my way back down to Fort Moore, Georgia, which is where my husband will be doing his airborne school. And then after he graduates from that, we will come back to here to Sylva, North Carolina, and pack up all our belongings that are in our storage unit, and then we're gonna go to wherever he's stationed. If my travels and my journey is something that you're definitely interested in, keep following, because there's going to be a lot more to come. I've got dock diving competitions scheduled. I want to get into more dog sports in the future also, and maybe on our travels we'll do a little bit of dock diving and whatever sports that come along. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and got to know a little bit more about me and my plans for the future, and I hope that you guys will follow along and give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.